Hey YouTube, it's Chibi Lone Guy. I'm going to make a series of videos on the subject of doing some simple and inexpensive things that can be uh, beneficial to your health. So this video is the first one, and I'm going to talk about table salt, commonly known as table salt, sodium chloride. And I'm going to read just briefly from a little white sheet that I picked up at a health food store. A little bit. But before I do that, let me introduce you to the alternative to table salt, the processed salt. The alternative is Himalayan Crystal Salt. You buy this stuff at your local health food store. There's what they look like. They're little crystals. This is exactly the way the stuff comes out of the ground. Salt crystals. And then you get yourself one of these little um, grinder salt mills and keep your Himalayan crystals inside, your salt crystals, and then you keep this on the table. And you can use this with a clear conscience. It's not at all like the table salt. So let me just briefly get into that. First of all, the consequences of consuming table salt. The result of consuming common table salt is the formation of overly acidic edema, or excess fluid in the body tissue, which also is the cause of cellulite. That's why doctors tell us to avoid salt. For every 0.035 ounces of sodium chloride that cannot be eliminated, the body uses 23 times the amount of its own cell water to neutralize the salt. If the sodium chloride is still too high, recrystallization of the table salt occurs as the body uses available non-degradable animal proteins, as those found in milk, which also have no value and cannot be broken down and eliminated. The body uses these proteins to produce uric acid. In order to get rid of the excess salt, as the body cannot dispose of uric acid, it binds itself with the sodium chloride to form new crystals that are deposited directly in the bones and joints. This is the cause of different kinds of rheumatism, such as arthritis, gout, and kidney and gallbladder stones. The recrystallization is the body's band-aid solution for the cells and organs in order to protect the body from the irreparable damage of irresponsible food intake. But in the long run, it poisons the system because those substances cannot be disposed of. All right, so that's the bad stuff. You just get rid of the processed salt, table salt. You know, the stuff that you buy at the grocery store that comes in that little round cylinder, and there's a few brands. It's sodium chloride. And here's a quick little story on that. How salt became sodium chloride. With the advent of industrial development, natural salt was chemically cleaned and reduced to the combination of sodium and chloride. Essential minerals and trace elements were removed as impurities. However, sodium chloride is an unnatural, isolated, unwholesome substance having nothing in common with salt. Similar to white refined sugar, salt, once regarded as white gold, was converted into white poison. Basically, the Himalayan salt crystals, you can get it at your local health food store. I would recommend replacing salt in your kitchen with the Himalayan crystal salt. Himalayan crystal salt can actually be viewed as food. When we speak of salt, we're speaking of salt in its original form. Holistic, wholesome, unaltered, natural salt, as it has been crystallized in the earth over millions of years. When we speak of table salt, that is sold in the supermarket, we refer to it as sodium chloride with additives. which is what it really is. Natural Himalayan crystal salt contains all the elements which the human body is composed. From the periodic table of elements, we are familiar with 94 natural elements, stable as well as unstable. Apart from inert gases, all of these elements can be found in crystal salt. Hence, crystal salt contains all natural minerals and trace elements that are found in the human body. We perceive crystal salt as being the totality of all natural elements. This may not be entirely correct according to chemistry. However, we will continue to use the term crystal salt in this context. The number of respective elements contained in crystal salt is biophysically irrelevant to this study. Well, maybe so, but they did publish later on in here that there's actually 84 natural elements needed by your body, and there's a list of them. I'm not going to read them. But you can probably pick up one of these white sheets at the health food store near the Himalayan salt crystals as well. It was only 250 years ago, with the advent of industrialization, that we initiated our disconnection from nature and her ways. Fortunately, we are caring for our body, including a shift back to utilizing natural salts in this process. Let me just say that this is a simple and relatively inexpensive thing you can do that will have tremendous benefits to your body's health. That's it. Simple. All right? Give it a try.